Hello, Candy.
Hey, how
How
are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Thank you very much.
Well, currently I work for the VA
Okay.
and I work the appeals. So when hospital bills go out for the veterans and the veterans do not agree with the decision the VA made, they have a right to appeal. And
Okay.
at that point, that's when it comes to my office and I begin to work it from there. So I've been with the government 2 years now.
Okay.
So what you start with at the government may not be what you end up with. Because I'm looking at the Department of Justice now.
Okay.
Totally different from where I am, but it's almost like the sky's the limit because you can hit up any of the facilities
Okay.
within
Okay.
there. Well, I had the Roux-En-Y gastric bypass. A lot of people choose to get the sleeve, but I chose the full gastric bypass. The difference is the sleeve is a little less invasive because they're not disconnecting anything. They're just more or less making the stomach a banana shape. What I actually had done was I no longer have use of maybe I think like 70% of my stomach. So
Okay.
they created me a new stomach, which is very small, like a little pouch, where and then that's where the ruin Y come from because it's almost like they make a Y in your intestines. One from the old stomach because it is kind of functioning, and then one from the new stomach.
Now, is there a reason that you decided to get this? Were you having like health problems?
Well, the reason I chose this and this decision didn't come lightly. Like I've always uh, was interested in the surgery
Mm-hmm.
for say 15 years or more because weight has always been an issue. But I have two younger children, and after I had them, I decided to let's try it before you go and get surgery. I don't want to just run off and let surgery be the first thing I did. I needed to at least see what I was made of, see if I could actually tackle this. I did. I lost over 100 pounds, and I
Oh,
kept it off for
wow.
10 years. The way I kept the weight off, I would run races. So I would sign up for 4 to 5 races every year. I did one 10K a year, which was the right age, because the 10K, that's 6.2 miles long. But I would do a lot of 5Ks, which is like 3.1. Because,
Okay.
you can go out and run 2 miles in a day. So it was easier to keep those smaller races because that would keep me motivated to keep working out because after doing it for years, it does get monotonous and boring. So you have to come to grips with it and settle over into it and realize this is just a way of life. This is a chore like anything else. Working out is like going to work. You just simply have to do it. So I even had a rule that dirty gym clothes was not an excuse not to work out. So if I didn't have anything clean, I lived in an apartment for years. Them gym clothes that I ran in, I would get in the shower with those gym clothes, honey, and shampoo them down, wash them out, hang them up. Then I would shower because at that point you have no excuse. You cannot make excuses. This held me over for 10 years. I was able to just do it and I loved it.
Okay.
But then I actually, in 2017, no, 2015, I tore my Achilles tendon on a spin bike.
Okay.
And people look at me and be like, how in the world did you get injured trying to work out? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it was the shoe that was compromised or if it was the pedal because I was using spin shoes. So
Okay.
the shoes actually clipped to the bottom of the pedal, and we were standing
Oh,
up and we were spinning backwards. And something happened. I don't know if it was the pedal or my shoe, but my right ankle got hyperextended and it snapped.
ooh.
Went home, went to bed, woke up. 5 hours later, my ankle was as big as a balloon. So I was like, wait, something is wrong. I went to the emergency, and they
Hmm.
were like, yeah, we think you tore your Achilles tendon. You have to get an MRI. So long story short, a week later, I got an MRI. I was in surgery 4 days later. They said I completely dislocated it from my heel, so I actually like have screws going in my heels, holding the Achilles tendon down. You can imagine what recovery was like. It was horrible because I focused so heavily on working out for 6 years. I could eat, for years, I could eat whatever I want. I didn't have to really too much fix my diet because I ran 6, 7 days a week. I didn't care. I just had to, I was addicted to it by then. But when I tore my Achilles tendon, everything came out. I didn't learn how to eat. And before I knew it, them pounds was coming on. And see, when you wear things like leggings and sweatshirts, you don't see it. And before I knew it, I had got the job at the IRS, and I had looked up, and right before the shutdown, we had a Christmas party. Baby, I took a picture of everybody, and the girl got a picture of me. I threw that picture back and was like, who the hell is that? She said, it's you. I said, that's not me. I was like, is that me? I'm like, body dysmorphia is real, because who's on that picture is not what was in my mind. It was crazy. That's what led to it, because it got to a point where, Toya, I couldn't stand up for more than 5 minutes at a time. My lower back was hurting. I had gained over 100 pounds. And I was just like, this is it. When I finally got everything in order, I had been chasing this surgery for so long, and they had been telling me that it was going to cost all this money. Well, when I finally got to the IRS and I had that insurance, and I began to go and see, I ended up getting this whole surgery done for $350.
Good for you. That's the one thing about government jobs.
Girl, I was like, see, but you know what though? Life has a plan, and you have to be okay with where it's taking you. I would have never thought that my plan was going to be to tear my Achilles tendon, gain this weight, only for me to have to experience this. But this trip was totally different, because I've learned so much about me personally that I didn't get the first go around. Because it's truly a lifestyle change, but in order to change your life, you got to figure out why it's happening.
Right, okay.
So part of the program is you have to go see a therapist. And I'm like, oh, therapist, because ain't nothing wrong with me. Clearly there's something wrong with you, because you're gaining the weight. It's not normal. Like, something is happening somewhere psychological, because you're using food as a crutch. So, there is something wrong. And people think like, oh, it's something wrong. It's okay for it to be, something wrong with your heart or your leg. You'll go to the doctor, but it's not okay for you to go about this weight. This weight affects so many other things, that going to the doctor about your blood pressure is just important with this weight. You cannot just let it just fester, because it'll just affect your organs. It was affecting my quality of life.
Right. Okay.
I just got married, and he was looking at me like, whoa. And I had to think about that. Like, if my husband gained all this weight, I'm not saying I don't love him, but like, I ain't signed up for that. I ain't signed up for all these health problems.
Right. Right.
I already done got married. Like, I'll be 50 soon. Wait a minute. I ain't just want to get married to be taking care of nobody sick.
Right.
All because you want to eat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you think about it, like, all because you don't have any self-control and you want to eat. I had to think about it and just be like, I don't care what nobody think. I don't care. At this point, it was like life or death for me.
Right.
You're going to just see yourself spiraling. Blood pressure out of control. Your feet hurt. You can't stand. You done went up a whole shoe size. Now you done went from wearing high heels every day, feeling your sexy self, to now you wearing Vans and leggings and North Face. You don't wear stuff like that, but you don't have any options. Because at this point, I just need comfort, because I still got to carry on.
Right, okay.
So that's why I ended up, my whole wardrobe was just crazy. I wasn't even accustomed to wearing the type of clothes that I was, but I couldn't fit anything else. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, I don't like these clothes. They don't fit me, because I wasn't buying the right size, because I refused to accept what size I was. So it was all kind of things going, girl, psychological. The psych part had me all messed up. That's why that therapist that you're required to see helps you get to the bottom of it. So I was thinking like, well, why am I overeating? What the heck is wrong with me? Come to find out that my appearance depressed me. I did not like the way I was looking because I knew what it was like to be smaller. And one of the biggest things that I always said to myself, I'm not gaining this weight back. And lo and behold, all it took was something out of my control, and I gained the weight back. So I was depressed. So because I was depressed, I was eating.
Okay.
So it kept me in this vicious, and I didn't realize that because of the depression, because, ooh, Bubbly Candy, she's not depressed. No, nobody would have ever thought that I was depressed, and I wouldn't, I didn't receive that. I'm not depressed. You're not going to tell me I'm depressed, but yes, I was. Unbeknownst to me, yes, clearly I was depressed, but it took me to get this surgery to like realize, because when you get the surgery, you go back to square one like a baby, eating small things and, certain things you can't eat, and there is no guide. They give you this little handbook and tell you, oh, don't eat this, that, but everyone is different. What you can eat, I might not be able to eat. Like right now, I don't have a desire. I don't really eat chicken because I just don't feel like dealing with it. I had also discovered too that I had an extremely unhealthy relationship with food. Food was more than just fuel for the body. It was something, a bigger beast for me.
Listening to you, you're making me feel kind of a little guilty because I have a sweet tooth and I have cavities like crazy. And my teeth are hurting right this moment. I need to get to a dentist quickly. I need a lot of dental work done. And I better go before my teeth start falling out. On top of that, I've developed an addiction for coffee, which are turning my teeth brown. So I have to stop. But every day I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop, and then I go right back to the donuts and coffee. And
I'm gonna tell you, you know what? It took me to go through this when I realized that because coffee, it restricts your blood vessels because of the caffeine. Well, I already have a high blood pressure, so my blood is already fighting to get through them, and your crazy butt gonna restrict them even more. I stopped drinking coffee because I was scared. I don't want to just up and die or something happen. But then after I quit drinking it, now I don't even have a taste for it.
Right.
So it's like you're choosing food over your life. I had to really get in control of it. So I have like no regrets.
Now, did you change your diet now since you had your surgery?
What I did was the day that I went to my very first appointment, I had to answer over 500 questions. They asked you the same 50 questions. No, they asked you the same 10 questions 50 times. They are playing games.
Right.
And I had to sit and I had to do 500 on one and 250 on another. And they said from that day forward, you are not to gain weight. Now, they didn't say you have to lose 50 pounds before your surgery. No, when you come in that door, they weigh you. They take your picture. And from this day forward, you absolutely cannot gain weight. And what that is telling them is how serious you are about it. So even if you just truck along and only lose maybe 1 pound or never lose a pound, the point is you can't gain because you're here because you have a problem. But what I did was I went on keto. I lived life more proactive instead of reactive. So it was more beneficial for me in December of 18 to go on keto.
Okay.
That's when I got introduced to keto, and I went, and I only lost 35 pounds in 7 months on keto, but it was all by myself, on my own, me figuring it out, because I said I did not want to wake up to a whole new lifestyle. If this is what we're doing and we're serious about it, the lifestyle starts now. Let's just do it now so that when the surgery comes, we just roll over into what we've been doing. I don't like to be shocked into anything.
Right.
Well, today is actually my 1-year anniversary, so I'm
Congratulations.
365 days post-op. Today is my new birthday. This surgery has totally given me a whole new lease on life. And to try to put it in perspective for you, it's so mind-bending. The heck with blowing. I can't even wrap my mind around what has happened in these past 12 months. It's crazy because I lost 122 pounds in 9 months.
Wow.
So today, right now, I wear a 14 pants and a large top. But now the 14s are too big. I'm moving over into a 12. When I last got weighed, I'm at 220. Now, I am 6'1". When I walked in that office that day, that surgery, I was 345 pounds.
Whoa.
Wearing a size 22, 24, yes. So to be able to put on a medium jean jacket that I got at the thrift store that I bought for the baby because it's a Gap medium. She talking about, I don't like it. I'm like, it was a large. I'm like, you don't like this jacket? The thrift store is so cute. I just happened to put it on one day because I didn't know who it was. And I'm like, it's it. Whose jacket is this? They were like, oh, that's the one you got for London. And I'm like, oh, it's mine now.
Well, good. You seem like full of energy too. Do you feel more energetic?
Yes, I have a whole new life. I get up and run. I do all
Good.
sorts of things. Like this morning, I got up and I went and did the 5 a.m. workout class. And then I
Okay.
went to work all day, and I'm still going. I would have been tired a long time ago. Yes, I have a whole new life. I told my husband, I'm like, I'm a different person. Like, I don't
Good.
know who you married 2 years, it's almost 3 years now. I'm like, I don't know who you married 3 years ago, but that's not who you're with now.
Good. Good for you.
Now, it's crazy because the people that you thought were going to be there for you are not.
Wow.
Now, and when I say they're for you, you don't need them for anything other than treat me the same way I've been. I went from being Candy to, I'm going to call you Candy Cane now. Why can't you just call me Candy? I went from being sis to little sis. Hey, look, it's like the weight loss is the elephant in the room now. So before the weight gain, me being so big and uncomfortable was the elephant in the room for me. Now the weight loss seem like it's the elephant in the room for other people. I come in the room and it's, oh, I just said I gotta go work out. Well, why the heck are we talking about this?
Wow.
And I'm constantly met with stuff like that, and I'm just like, but then I'll get a follower because the whole weight loss surgery, they have a whole community on Instagram, so I have a lot of followers and stuff. These strangers that don't know me from a can of paint will just be cheering you on. You look amazing. Your results are great, and you don't need that, but it's good to hear it because. Again, that body dysmorphia is real because people are like, you're skinny. But I'm looking in the mirror like, look at this flabby skin and the stomach been hanging like an apron since I was 345 and now I lost this weight and you're still there. So I still have issues and things like I'm preparing to get a tummy tuck. That's what's next on the list because it's like I'm at the point now where I feel like the surgery, I got a new suit made, and you just don't finish it and get it hemmed. You just gonna leave the hems all raggedy. So the tummy tuck is like the finishing thing for me, but I wanted to lose a lot of weight first so I can only fix the stomach. I don't want lipo, and I don't need it, but I just want that excessive stomach from having the children and things just to be taken away. The kids are here. I don't need the stomach as a badge of honor.
Right.
It's not like that.
Right. That's really shocking because you would think that people would be more, they would want to celebrate with you. So
no, the people who are the nicest are the skinny girls. The skinny girls like, come on over, sis. The bigger plus size girls is like, what I've done is not a secret. They've done it for years. Right. Anyone has the opportunity to take advantage of this. Right. So I'm not doing nothing big. Don't feel like you don't have to be envious or of anyone because you can lose weight. You can. Right. This is a tool if you use it right. I think the biggest misconception with any of the weight loss surgery is people are under the impression that it's the end all be all. Like, I get surgery, I'm skinny, that's it. Hell no. Then when people say, oh, the surgery is the easy way out, said no weight loss patient ever. Right. This is not the easy way out. To me, this is like the last resort. You didn't try everything and you just at your wit's end. It's life or death. Now I got to get this. It's not the easy way out. It was hard. Like I went days days without eating food, and
Mm-hmm.
I've given up so much just so that this tool can work for me. So when you see people that had a surgery and they gain the weight back, this is a personal journey.
Right.
This will only be as good to you as you are to it. So it's a lot
I
of food I turned down. You really got to do what works for you. You'll know
right.
your body. But I will say that when I do drink, the sweeter drinks are very, very uncomfortable for me. And I really don't even want my body to get used to all that. So what I
Right.
do is doing the quarantine has taught me a lot. So I make my drinks with Crystal Light. I make me some Crystal
Okay.
Light, and I'll add me some cherry 3 olives, and just to give it a little splash of sugar, a drop of grenadine in it, just for
Okay.
a
Okay.
little bit of sugar. I just adapt. It's a lot of food that I don't necessarily like. Ooh, I love, but I'm not here to eat to be in love with the food, because being in love with food is what got me where I was. I
Right.
eat for the energy. I do. Your taste buds will change though. So I've made my taste buds adapt. I even have my children eating like, because I'm not making a bunch of different meals, and if I don't eat the garbage, like, why am I giving it to them?
Right.
So everyone eats like how I eat. The only difference is I can eat a little bit, whereas someone else can eat a plate full.
I did the gallon. I did a gallon of water a day for 45 days. So I had 45 gallons of water in 45 days. When I went back to eating, drinking like lemonade and stuff, oh my goodness, it was so sugary. I was like, oh, it was so sweet. It was so sweet. And I didn't realize it until I did the gallon of water for 45 days. So you are absolutely correct.
And people don't realize how many carbs they're consuming, and carbs turn to sugar. So what I do is now I do not consume more than 25 carbs a day, because I'm gonna tell you there's just so many things that you can eat without them. And then I noticed that even after the surgery, if I eat carbs, I got to sit down job, my feet swell, my
Oh,
hands swell. When I stop eating carbs, I don't swell up anymore.
oh
I can sit
wow.
all day and I don't have swollen. So even the surgery could not fix that. It's just that carbs, I've learned, have a horrible effect on the body, that white food. And people just want to overindulge, and your taste buds will adjust. And to the point where, and sugar is like crack. You'll crave it. I even had it to where I would have a headache because I refused to eat sugar for like 3 or 4 days. Then it would finally ease up. So that's why I'm like, no, I'll stick to the Crystal Light and just keep my sugar to a minimum, because it's too hard to come off of it.
I think that's how Fight Dog from Tribe Called Quest died too. I think he said that he was diabetic, I believe, and I think he said that the sugar was like crack. He couldn't like stop, and it ended up
Can't
killing
take
him.
it. It's to the point now where people are like good carbs and quinoa and brown rice. I keep all that to a minimum, because I feel like, because I am a bariatric patient, it's a slippery slope for me. So it's easier to get a little bit of it and just steer clear from it, because at
Right.
the end of the day, I enjoy this lifestyle far more than that plus size. So you can have the rice, because I'm putting on size 12 dresses. And
Right.
when I tell you the confidence that comes with it and the way I feel, and this probably gonna sound like the craziest thing, but finally I look like what I thought I looked like in my head. Ain't
Oh
that crazy? You had
wow.
to lose over 100 pounds to actually look like what you thought you looked like. I'm like, because that's a picture of me
Wow.
behind me. That is me, my body, 2 days before surgery. I'm gonna lean out of it. I don't know if you can see it good or not.
Now I could, and now I can see your car seat.
Hold on. I would recommend it if you're serious. This
Right.
is
Okay.
a lot to go through to lose all that weight and just get a glimpse of what your life can be like, and then gain it all back. I've seen that reality for so many people. I have to work out. I have to eat right. There is nothing different from me than anyone else. The only thing that the surgery do for someone who's extremely overweight, I feel like it levels the playing field for me.
Okay.
It gave me a fair chance because
Okay.
if I'm 345 pounds and I'm going to boot camp and I'm jumping around, girl, I will be aching for days, walking like a zombie because my body is hurting so bad from that workout. So with me, I didn't work out for the first 11 months. I've only been working out for a month because the
Okay.
first 11 months I focused solely on food, eating certain food, how it affects the body, what I can and can't eat, what's good for me,
Okay.
how I should eat. Because when I first started introducing food back into my diet, I would eat food and an hour later I'm sleepy. I don't know why the food was just making me sleepy. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot stay up. So over time, I began to be able to stay up longer and longer. So it's like, okay, so certain foods I just don't eat.
What's a typical day like as far as from morning to nighttime? What's a typical day like? What do you eat?
Well, the first thing I've gotten over is there is no such thing as breakfast food.
Right.
Breakfast food, it is the most important meal, but it is the worst meal. If you think about what breakfast food actually consists of, if you're not eating an omelet, there's nothing but French toast, pancakes, waffles, grits, oatmeal. Everything that they're serving for breakfast is a carb. When I get up in the morning, my stomach determines what I'm going to eat, how I feel.
Okay.
Some mornings I get up and I'm not hungry.
Okay.
But did I eat late the night before? Because I find that by me not eating carbs and eating strictly like vegetables and meat, I'm not hungry as fast. So food sustains me longer. If I'm not hungry, I do not eat. Like this morning, I came in from that workout, girl, I was starving.
Okay.
So I went and got me a Polish boy. I put it in the toaster oven, I cut it up, and I made literally 7 little bitty French fries. I really wanted the crunch of those fries, but I know I can't eat them. So what I did was I put 7 fries in the toaster oven. I counted them out. That was less than a serving. And then I cut that Polish boy up, piled it up, put some coleslaw on it with some barbecue sauce, and ate it with a fork. And I was completely happy.
No bread?
Like no, you don't need the bread. Because when I eat the Polish boy, I'm not eating it for the bread. The bread kind of is a holder. I'm eating it for everything else. So no bread. You don't need that mess. Low carbs, because there are days when, this will be in a woman period, where, honey, I'm running around looking for a Snickers.
Right.
Now, and also, too, I've learned moderation.
Right.
That is the key with a lot, because just because I eat the Snickers, I don't need the entire thing. I might just take 2 bites off of it and I'm done. I don't want any more of it. I just need it for some crazy psychological girl reason.
Right.
But it works. And then I'll get a bag of those 50-cent chips. I might eat 4 or 5 of them, and I don't eat anymore. Because the goal is not to eat it all, but you have to be realistic with yourself. If you need these items, then eat them. I learned to just be happy with what I can have instead of focusing on what they're taking away. Right. What I'm getting in return, this smaller body, girl, when I lay down on the bed, my stomach ain't falling way over there.
Yeah. What I did, one time I went real hard. Like, I went real hard. My coworker was like, girl. She was like, no, this is what she said. She was an older Caucasian lady. She was like, honey, you are losing too much weight. She was like, you need to eat. She's like, you're losing entirely too much weight. And she was right, because I changed my diet drastically and I wasn't working out. So I was like sticks and bones. I was just walking around like sticks and bones.
So with this surgery, you have to lift weights or work out, because what I noticed that after 11 months, you're going to start getting that old lady body. You better fill it up with muscle. Well, I'm going to tell you, for me, there is no more
diet,
cheat meals. There is no more cheat days. There is a cheat bite.
Okay.
You could take a bite of it. You don't need it all. You don't need a whole meal of all this, because, again, it's a slippery slope. And I know people have messed it up, and I just don't want that to be my reality. So for me, I just call it a cheat bite. Just give me a bite. and I'll take a bite of one thing if they have a burger and fry. Well, I'm gonna get a piece of the meat. I ain't gonna eat the bread.
Right.
But then I will eat the French fries because you can't have all those carbs. You just have to like really ration it out and pick and choose because you cannot have it all. So you're gonna eat a little bit of the food and have this great body, which to me, and maybe it sounds vain, but to me, great body equals a greater quality of life for me because I feel like I'm healthier.
Right.
I look better. My husband looks at me totally different. I be like, man, will you get? I find myself fighting him off. Even in my sleep, I'm like, where are you coming from? He was like, you're just so soft. I'm like, well, dang, was I hard? I don't remember. What did I feel like? He was just like, because he's putting so much emphasis on like, oh, you're so soft. And I was just like, I can only imagine what I felt like because, you know, when you're fit, when you're bigger, the fat is in the skin, so the skin get tight. And so I was like, oh, I bet I was feeling all tight and stuff like a teddy bear. I'm like, I'm sorry, honey. He was like, no, it was okay. We just feel soft now. I'm like, his reaction is priceless. I enjoy that, I think, more so than anything because it's now is put them heels on and buy that dress.
Okay.
And where we going out? Versus before, he'll be like, you want to go out? No. I would be hiding because I didn't want anyone to see me.
Okay.
Because I was ashamed that I had gained that weight back because I had worked out for so many years that I developed a fitness family and so many people I knew from working out. I was ashamed to see any of those people. Even though majority of them knew that I tore my Achilles tendon. Right. And I'm very, very, very competitive. I'm so competitive that when I go to boot camp, this is hilarious. There's rows, and people who've been there and can hang the whole class usually go on the front row. I go on the second row. Now you ain't worked out in 10 months. You didn't have surgery. And you got your butt on the second row, girl. But I go to the second row because I'm so competitive that the people on the front row push me, and I'm determined. Right. Like, I might not be able to do 1,000 jumping jacks, but I did 700 of it. And when I come back, I'm going to get you. So I be on them. The biggest pro is the rapid weight loss. That is something that you can't get that nowhere else. Okay. So when you run across people and you see they done dropped a whole bunch of weight and they talking about all this old other stuff they did, they had surgery. Okay. And it's okay, but for some reason, some people like to hide it. I would say to me, the biggest con is you go through all this and you can still gain the weight back. Anything else, I can more or less deal with and wrap my mind around. The scariest part for me is that you go through so much. Please don't gain the weight back. Right. I could do the gym, no problem. Right. That food part was where I struggled. Right. So now I understand when I meet different people in the fitness world, and then you'll hear people say, I'm struggling with my weight. The first thing they ask you is, what are you eating? Yep. What's your diet? Because the diet tells everything. I've learned firsthand. You don't have to lift a finger to do. Some people are like, I hate exercising. Well, I get it. Everybody don't like it. And you don't have to. Somebody would rather just go out every day and take a 30-minute leisure walk. You can do that. Right. But you have to fix your diet. That is it. Diet is almost like 90% of it. Yes, I will tell you that going to the gym these past 30 days, I feel physically stronger. I feel like I'm getting some Angela Bassett arms and what's left I can do with it. Yeah. So I feel like it's not looking like 200 pounds of chewed bubble gum. You know how you're getting smaller, but it ain't got no definition. Right. Going to the gym it's starting to define stuff and cut the arms up and stuff. And now when I put my legs is looking more curvy like the baby doll. I said, oh, is that what that gym would do for you? But see, you can't see all that because the weight is all hid behind the excessive weight. This weight loss to me is like a drug.
That's how you get drunk with the results.
Follow the physician, not the hospital. People get caught up in Cleveland Clinic, university. No, when I chose my doctor, I researched him personally. So I live like Cleveland Shaker area.
Okay.
I went all the way out to Willoughby
Oh,
for
wow.
my appointment. Yes. So I was traveling far because the doctor was so good that I'm gonna tell you, if it wasn't for the marks on my stomach, I promise you, and the fact that I can't eat a lot, there would be no way that you would tell me I had surgery. Do your research, follow the doctor, not the facility. If you want a new leash on life and a second chance, don't be scared. Because I was terrified. When I was in there, the day I was getting my surgery, my blood pressure was 180 over 100. They was like, she gonna
Woo.
stroke out. Give her something to relax her.
Why were you
That's how,
afraid?
because I was just scared of being put under, and I got a family, and
Oh,
I just got married. I gotta wake up. Things happen all the time, and
right,
I'm like, it would just kill me if something happened when I elected to have this. This was not
right.
life threatening. Kinda it was, but it wasn't.
Okay.
And I chose to go under the knife. So if anything would have happened, girl, I would have felt horrible. So I was just concerned about my family.
My mother had a friend named Tweety. Tweety was probably about 230 pounds when we first met her. And then she graduated. She just kept gaining and gaining and gaining. And I think she got if I recall correctly, she could have been about 600 pounds. They tried to get her to do the surgery because she needed to lose the weight and she needed to lose it rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
She was afraid to have surgery. She ended up dying at age 35.
I've learned that you can't let your fears hold you back, because the very thing that you're afraid of can save your life. I would tell somebody, if you're trying to get surgery, don't force it. What's meant for you won't pass you by. Because remember when I was hurt for you. We was back in our early 20s. So hurt because they went and got it and didn't tell me. I felt so left out. I'm like, and then I had to roll through my 20s being plus size, but they were smaller. I said, but why did my life have to go that way? But see, that I get mine when I'm in my mid-40s. Now I got the job, the body. I said, whoo! If I had to pick and choose at what point in my life I would have rather had it, I would choose this way all over again.
Plus, can you imagine having the discipline at age 20 to maintain it? Like at
I would have
20,
never maintained it.
No.
I would have ruined it. I would have ruined it. It wasn't my time.
Right.
Because when it's your time, everything just falls into place so easy. There's life after surgery. Just like when you go and get a procedure done and you heal up and you move on, no one will know you had that procedure.
Right.
As you move life. People forget. You move on, change jobs, life move on, life happens. People forget. And then even people that you have been around forget truly how big you were. If you need the help, I'd rather get the help. I'm still here to talk about it. And I feel like I look better this time.
You look great. You look great. You look like you're happy. You look like you're enjoying your life. Thank you so much, Candy, for joining us and sharing your experience. You look amazing.
Girl, I love this new life. I feel like you put on. It's so crazy because now I find myself putting on heels going to the store.
Right.
He's like, where is you going? I'm like, I don't know, but the fact that I can wear the heels and they don't hurt my feet or my back, I'm putting them babies on. Let's go. Right. I'll be having on jogging pants and heels, girl. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. I'll talk to you again real soon. Yes, I'm loving my new life.